You're a caveman, asshole. You're a caveman, asshole. You're a caveman. You're a caveman, asshole. You're a fucking throwback. You've been spending too much time underground, huh?
The genetic chain of my brain's a strain to go against the grain to change the game. Intentions change, perspectives evolve. The puzzles never solved, there's fundamentals involved. Extend your range, stay the same, the essence remains. Cause once you sold your soul, you're just a link in the chain of oppression. Life's a thinking man's game. You can make mistakes, be sure to take the lesson. Every time I plummet, I hit the ground running. Never stay in place to save face, it's just a waste of space. I go balls to backbone, my rap tone's aggression. The power of suggestion. A flower grows in dissension, but blossoms upon inflection. An introspective detective, blessed with a collective consciousness to contemplate dissected conscious states. Corrective lenses of perception, never above the question or the stench in convention. A morbid conformist invention, the enormous deception of ego. We're programmed like C3PO, see me I flow. Windows cracked on my glass shack. When I throw stones on track, they bounce back. In fact, let me demonstrate. Hate's a waste of energy. Eventually we all fall victims to the symptoms of envy, which essentially leaves us empty. We're trapped by fear. The path is disappearing like cross colors here. I got you in my crosshairs. I can't see cause ignorance cause glares. Innocence is lost here. Kids walk by warfare, tortured thoughts swear. My mic walks a bloody sidewalk. Thoughts outlined in chalk. Nowadays, souls report you're only guilty if you caught.
Pursue if I style substances unknown to smile, right? Crack floor, walker of life, shadow broken like skip stone rays against steel beat like prism. Take rhythms and do I do. Bit particles, start anew, salivary brain construct. Maladjusted pain can bust. Salamanders must refrain from lust, tapping into the palette of color. Screen blank page, stream flat waves and such. Scream iambic pen, contaminated in page, minus those traditional standards of iambic pentameter. Tantalizing structural confinite, frozen silhouette flame retorts that can absorb circumferences and prime rights. Diverse thoughts first. Galactic ores and semantic roars, universally map the floors of you catch that press pause in your cassette deck doctrine of atoms, postulates, which is worth far more than the thirst of your parched marinara trench. Gathered stench, glow stick, tree stump, on pure wavelength, chromatic, excrete from the bladder, septic, accepted modestly. When it breathes the body of life-like sensations, rips through the simplest of systems that can't flutter properly. That's right, a supple mockery stands beside you, procrustean crustaceans as sea silently sizing up curvature abnormalities held in an oblique. A subtle bubble crust will touch you properly. Cook topsy-turvy, keep serving the grapple like you do so sloppily. I'm Bliss, got poly, conceptual.
time will tell. Let my rhyme swell. Moving the citadel where Cannibal Ox dwell. Hung off a cliff, drank the water but never fell. Now I speak to infidels about the integrity of cells. Search for unity in what seem to be a bottomless well. To open people's minds, feel like casting a spell. Thinking I'm powerless in this world all by myself. A musician, once called magician, accidentally before my help. Always wanna move forward, the last thing we want is hell. My man said hell where we at right now, the voice like a death knell. Prophecy's prediction, we won't be living well until we grow half the meat we eat, the rest we kill. That's ill. How far away that is from our world to buy a cell where abstract knows no property could have you locked up in a cell. Oh hell, apocalypse that could all be for the better. Nuclear weather that we fear could have our children working together.
Shit, I'm looking down my nose at y'all, hoping y'all don't even think you're dope at all. Call me conceited, then I'll be that. I've been nice too long, now it's time for me to be that. Total domination, I'm impatient with the conversation. Lacing most tapes and CDs, they should be in a budget, been given out for free as an example of how not to MC. In a superstar seminar titled Don't Fuck With Me. Luckily, got a sunny disposition, pot to visit. But try this and you'll be posthumously spitting them garbage written. Let's bury the hat in the back of half a faggots, parasitic maggots. Alaska automatic from 3-point land with the L in my hand. And I don't think you understand, my brain goes deep like Janet Jackson, Bono action. So you can get my vibe like Tony Braxton with the ass on the cover. You rock a master cover, you're inadequacies. Alaska sees through that shit. Most crews are backwards. Couldn't fill my shoes if you use my exact words. Y'all some whack herbs that don't deserve to touch mic. Don't know what MCs look like. I think my shit's the best and most times you prove
This
me right.
graffiti vandal is scandalous. Hip-hop's evangelist, spreading my gospel through the use of unheard languages. See, my third vision, yo, it's used efficiently. While you swim in this sea of artistic insufficiency, and lyrically you infants be trying to dance. First learn to crawl, then walk, slowly advance. Cause only the enhanced mind of a few individuals can proceed directly to the use of complex lyricals. And of course you're forced to digest the pitiful, served on silver platters, compact and digital. While we whip up miracles for hip-hop survival. My culinary arts placed on plates of vinyl. And currently your currency seeking, like Gary Oldman's whole feeding and Romeo's bleeding. And that's the sole reason downfalls your destiny. Another victim stricken by the Adams fan complexity.
You will and shall receive a headless execution for not following the Adams Nebular Constitution. Poems are living documents, so when I die, my ionic generation collects the pie. Let's question the dead end sign on the road to prosperity. Offend vast, offend God, that is double jeopardy. After I devour your planet through vanity, a cold asteroid will become your manifest destiny. And de facto segregation is applied when one must be separated from the mic until the day of independence. And your representative, a beginner, barely got his feet wet when tested while blood flowing, heart muscle arrested. Due towards your process, what you mean I can't knock it? If you sell false realities to put money in your pocket, this is not reasonable. And I'll doubt you'll try to limit this elastic clause without probable cause. Because postcards from the edge, throw them from the tips of icebergs, using higher imagination like a nation of Steven Spielbergs. And if had any thought in it, you would plead the fifth or remain guilty until proven innocent.
Yo, people like the essence of pus, messing the flux of pessimists, lessen the clutch, separate messenger, sepulchre, epitaph. You suffer from lack of lapis, got aftermath. You have to grab the turbulence of your subservient purple pen dinosaur. Final force dying to sign up on your security blanket. Minus stuffy silence, minus timeless flows, your whoopies gone. You find what? Your so-called purity sank the ship you be floating on, the line is drawn. You mollusk get pelted from selling the soul of a swan. Enveloped in total equations beyond the behavior of wands broken. No song spoken, soaking the hold of the palm poking. Paths of lily sass, oh really? You don't have to fascinate the past debate to fasten the snakeskin belt. It's smoother the grass, the grape skin welch. Purer than Puritan ways, keeps her on some knit, serving the light. Pendulum, spinning them into women in prison, hit metaphors. Cat scratch with metal pores, tentatively swimming in rainbow flesh. The same old guess, the menopause. You need iron gauze, you crying for more gauze pads. I saw sad faces, leaving sad traces. Disappear like Casper with a cat's purr, decrescendo. Windnbreeze, atoms, span body, catch blur, seed, pen, glow, poly.
Trapped in cold days, my rap flows insane. New York, the cold vein. Got nothing but fiends and broke names. Stay frozen in the apple, we chosen to blow brains. You niggas is no name. Whack trying to flow in the rap game. I flow pain that kills. Detach reels and crack grills. Divine line design as rap pills. Swallow your cat pills. I shine for a law with mad skills. Hold yours, my nigga Rod still lock. Peace, soccer law. I know it's hard, trapped inside and can't watch the stars. We made it this far and still here. Live niggas pushing through cold fear. 365 in it the whole year. Stress on my brain, I blow tears. You know life, we flow spears, living. Niggas drink the OE liquid and paint rap visuals tight vivid. It's like critics wanna bite the dick. I still rap and swing hooks like I'm Riddick. Boa constrict your whole rhythm. Niggas is trapped in prison. Relax the system. I act with vision. Fly in the sky, live pigeon, 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 pigeon,
Yeah. It might sound perverted, and I'm served upon insertion of my words of virgin ears. I crack a smile when I'm submerged in tears. Some of the tears of joy, most of brain pain due to damage mind. Hymen's broken by atoms, design rhyming game. What's insane? Your aim is to feel friction twisted in positions like a plastic sex doll waiting to be sticked. The anus, shameless, blown up and famous, stuck by the industry. And unless you trust religiously, simply for short-term change of scenery, and it's no mystery. You see the seemingly and the supply of erotic toxic greenery. A scene will be crushed by premature nut bust. Pride of yours desire appointments, all due to these assortments of exotic oils and ointments in the forms of contracts, but upon physical contact it was immediate disappointment. And some crew do wraps his lips around your plastic smooth tube until you've been blown up. The vision made me throw up. You dumb sluts continue to suck, should've told you to slow up. Dumb fuck, I guess that's why you're fresh out of luck. Your ass lasted here only a mere minute, fool. Left in the cold naked, holding on your miniature. You shake and twitch, your life slips through the cracks in the pavement. Amazing how quick you got pimped into that mental enslavement with no future. You wonder where your past went. I find this industry guilty of rap sexual harassment. Little more than a quick score. She ain't the first nor the last whore to be taken for their corporate experiments of a sexual direction. My intelligent text lays like latex as protection from them and their henchmen's erections, plus infections and other harsh elements spread by mental sex celibate. So I celibate of sex and feel my 12 inches of thrust and disgusting porn spawn in vinyl form, pornographic, graphic, visual, oral ecstasy. These pimps and dicks don't live after failed attempts at sexing me.
When you're young, not much matters. When you find something that you care about, and that's all you got. When you go to sleep, at night you dream of pussy. When you wake up, it's the same thing. It's there in your face. You can't escape it. Sometimes when you're young, the only place to go is inside. That's just it. Fucking is what I love. Take that away from me, and I really got nothing.
In the mind of the fly, flying aimlessly, wander lazily, entrapped in a web a spider weaves so painstakingly and faithfully. Flies drop at the feet of the temptress, black widow, shadows cast, bare skin by the window. Reality's portholes, doorways to separate mazes, faces in and out of vision, laced with cases of dead faces, places life on a string. Tightrope walker, grows wings, stalker with space, with time I climb while demons sing. In excelsis Deo, to the making of cosmic Plato, I lay low, my sky is filled with tombs marked by gravestones, my slave tones revisit homes of spirits tortured in cocoons. Looming creepers crawl and map the fate of coming doom. Gloom surrounds the womb of life. I live and breathe the sea where I'm the wife of devil strife. Like birds in flight, I race at windows, crush bones in the night. The glass house stands, I land outside and perish. What a sight. I might resurrect myself, grasp the end and enter in. Splattered feathers on the wind and now cycles begin. Sit of man, I stand alone with tones turned to screams. Where Satan enters through the door and out the back God leaves. Moaning trees, I believe the spider of her duties and dispersed in the breeze. what a tangle web we weave.
Inferior intellect, insects attempt to soar to these heights. I leave them dangling, strangling men with a cordless mic. The pathetic get it for trying to cite my verbs in verbatim, but my verbs bite back. Yeah, yo, my verbs, yeah, they swallow them whole. Rhyme flow, a boa constrictor, constricting victims, victimizing, lying, protozoa emissions. One-celled organisms stuck in unirhythm mode. With only one mode of flow to unload, behold the multiple artistry of the cryptic flows of archery. Precise slice of a small part, and there's much more to come, cause hip-hop runs in my arteries. Straight from the heart, you'll see it pump life to the body of the beat. Oddly, it'll never cease, each CPR release will breathe new life to the masterpiece. Some call hip-hop, but I call it life gear for survival. Vinyl, fry line, a broken dance, and advanced mics. And if you have none of the above elements in possession, my suggestion, stay far away from the cryptic one's invention.
Man, please, I evolved from an army that never stood at ease. We fly kites with keys and blame poverty on the fleas. Cause they took all the scratch and that shit's whack. I got the whole world in my hand, but it melts in your mouth much better. Should you ever come in contact with the facial expression that battled the 22nd letter? Yo, the secret is never ask him what possessed him, now that's clever. Thought for sportsmanship was taught to the bad loser. And if you don't accept it, I'll say go to hell on the express elevator and expect to dwell and breathe hard like Vader. Enclosed in a dark crater, reduced to a scavenger, scrounging for his creator. And my anti-vanity boots are made from alligator, a personal symbol of my innovative labor. You need not a feather to soar, unless it's a pen that you dip in the ink that's mightier than swords. Adams have the divine right to bless the mic, so praise the Lord. For others to follow, pose the position. You're supposed to listen with an ear that's hollow, because tomorrow puppeteers will attach strings to your tears at will to control your sorrow. Like a possum when he fakes death to see tomorrow, don't hold your breath. Yes, good morning class, I am Professor Kramer, and by the end of the semester, I would hope that you would be able to copy or emulate these great musicians that I just revealed for you today. This is Hip Hop 101, and by the end, just listen to the song.
At night, I ignite and light the stars of my flight. The red moon glows crimson and gives the blinded sight. Yellow eyes and black wings give way to strange things. Devious occurrences cause murderous happenings. Laughter rings to the galaxies, the gods crown the new king. Angels turn to demons, so now they fiendin' underlings. I strive for righteousness, though might just listen to temptation. Past prior convictions at fast paces be erasing. Listen to the sound of 1,000 screams resound in your eardrums, then beg the gods that you've been lost, but now you're found, foolish mortals. Blind past the silly hurdles of your existence. Ignorance is bliss, so y'all are happy and I'm blissless. I guess it's Christmas, everybody celebrating with their antichrist. Completeness is nice, but we ain't sinless, so we pay the price. At last, human perfection. When we settle for our nature and continue to deceive, we face death before belief.
When I attack foes, I create black holes and trap those guys within my clutch. They die like flies in the eyes of aeon flux. My lasses grab their asses. I give lashes with metaphorical whips. This oracle sits on historical scripts. I'm warning you, it defies logic to oppose. My deposit of positive forces, it tosses foes into black vats of acidic liquid tracks. It pours like hydrochloric. My flow sort of a flask that's holding lots of golden hot chemicals. Poetical, extraterrestrial with extra tentacles. Throwing fallen enemies in garbage-filled receptacles beyond the help of intellectual medical professionals. And it's unstoppable. Hospitals have no vacancy. Escape's impossible. My third optical leads up to bake you fake MCs with degrees that exceed a furnace. The worthless epidermis burn if they don't learn to stay clear of verses. Surface residents fall to the underworld, intelligent atom veteran. Far from artificial, the art's official. The missing piece of the dark crystal. My intercontinental ballistic aerial bound missiles won't miss you. Even if you whack with quick and nimble as Jack, you get vaporized, fried. Those that survive get trapped in my mind, with no possibility of escape. You all lack mental ability, so suffer this ugly fate.
I got my eyes on the prize like Olympians flipping when instant replay screws them over. That's why I hold the mic like a 4-leaf clover, so I can determine what lies at the rainbow's end after our reign is over. Of atomic dynasty, claymated pottery, air and water, here to fuse life or create order and start my apocalyptic dietary. Cause hysterically I am known as Teddy Ruxpin, the horizon denter that evolved from an army that never stood at ease. And if that's your XY, you better check her like Chinese. For many days I was trapped in a maze, like a guinea pig. But my days were repeated in the ways of the groundhog. Just another collapse on that breeze to rebel the smog. I say we break the legs on the high horse, put a bullet in the brain and splatter the ego. Look before you leap, man, or you're gonna get sent to the great blue sky with a harp in your hands. And that shall be all for today's lesson. Make sure you take your rhyming for dummies dictionaries home. I request chapters 6 to 110 by tomorrow. No questions. I will flunk you.
You know, sometimes we're not prepared for adversity. When it happens, sometimes we're caught short. We don't know exactly how to handle it when it comes up. Sometimes we don't know just what to do when adversity takes over. And I have advice for all of us.
I'm from the Adams fam, and it's the small things that count. The atom is a small thing with a large destruction amount. I wanna live a long life. I don't wanna disappear with the sun rays when they fall over the mountain. So until then, life maintains. Callus is the antimantium nutshell frame. This shit ain't cotton, candy, ponies, the alarm sounds. I wake up in an ebony, mahogany, poverty-stricken by the lightning rods that came from gray clouds with silver linings, falsely painted, outlined even, but purposely tainted. So I can misread the guidelines of the sky's limit on the sideline. Small print written in bluish tinge. I think hard, like Christopher Wallace with a cheeseburger on his mind in his last minutes. Damn, you gotta excuse my French. Sometimes I speak in kissing swords, but I don't know how to fence. But these words will make your head bop, but you lost hope like the 39 souls that were told to hold on to the tail end of the hell bob. Divine parasite, put a muzzle on it, reality bites. Yo kid, I'm Christ-like, like how? Rhymes are flows and I walk among them, like a traitor within a crew of 13. But with a cellular fingertip as ET to make contact with the unseen. You telling lies wearing gasoline Levi's, cause man was made to crawl to walk but never to fly. It's in our genes, I'm trying to close the gap that bleeds, while you continuously bite the hand that feeds. My life has become an odd number while you slept in. Wander the rings that I conquered through, pondering through sentences I run after I meet the track and cross the finish line in 4 minutes flat. I'm a peaceful cat, but I respect beef like a hen. And cross that fine line and Adams will feast on Indian barbecue. I'm from the Adams fam, and it's the small things that count. The atom is a small thing with a large destruction amount. Get your rhymes together. Swinging at my man, but got trapped in a vast nucleus. In order to keep face, I make up for the blemished surface. Commercial hip-hop is like dermatology. They only study the surface of the common shell. Must one fail for another to pass? said by a wise man, watching a fool pull a mule's ass. You know us black kids, we all look alike. So I'm born without a face, cause I don't wanna be like Mike. Unless he comes from starving, happy Harlem, where that name is a pun. Cause when you hungry, it ain't fun, man. These crooks are us, toy guns, play with guns in the back of alleys. Chests, fallen leaves from dysfunctional family trees, daughters and sons. Yeah, I hold all my rhymes in my palm, so when I drop lines there, sometimes deeper than a penny that dwells in the bottom of a thirsty, wishing well in hell. So appreciate these outspoken tokens from a member of the Starship Enterprise who built with the last Vulcan. And I'm from the Adams fam, and it's the small things that count, and the atom is a small thing with a large destruction amount. Yeah, it's like that. I'm gonna give a shout out to my man Mike Murphy, Chicago. What's up with my man Maharaja in DC? My man Authenticator and Duchess, Hip C, Power Kingdom, like what? Starving, happy, Harlem Chronicle. What? Swing my cylindrical on track. What?
When I hear ass backwards bastards, basic beats with whack words and blasphemous tactics, I die inside like cyanide silence. I'd rather hear. I hold this rather dare and leave you trapped like deer in the headlights of your all-consuming stereotypes. By stereotypes, letters of resignation from recognition of your tape playing on decks within its system. As it enters self-destruction, squash discussion on these simple matters. Since the average senseless chatter sends our status centuries backwards, and perhaps I blame this on the blankness stated in your blanket statements with basic statements blanket slate. If the opportunity arrives to stop your lunacy cries, and loosely knit sides of sadness that lasts fast with stagnant hit you fall on. After wishful core conclusions occluded, the lucid anecdotes featuring handmade quotes. Can't get past my man-made motor, circular rhymes. In the circus you'll climb as a mental freak. I'm meant to seep into the fabrics of my soul. Fragments of control hinder your abilities while splintering facilities. Cause a mental revolution, your mental sense pollutants in the environment. In a vile sense we're the same, since our aim remains to make each other's job more difficult. Yet your distant glows can't float on my evaporated seas. Perhaps we'll wait and see how this destructive conflict ends. But bust out if you win. I'll become a brown cloak on the ground. Your soul, how more powerful than you can fathom. When I fed some spirit and lyrics in your direction, your reflection led to self-doubt that swarms like locusts. While I remain the chosen focus of your internal dialogue. You're inoperable like a sundial fog. Obsolete when I lock the Felix fist from reptiles. You for your textiles can't get painted complex styles. Needed for crossbreeding countercultures. Cross-bearing from clouds and vultures. Those with jokes upon the concepts and concepts. Join us more choices in order to small. Strip the right out bushy tail. The lights I should prevail so your life's out to no avail. You should have learned your lesson. Simply line and simplified your messages. Message your more or less is dead in my eyes. Alaska master of brainiac superfly.
I'm the substance that'll make the third eye cry to hide intelligence bullshit.
I'm simply tearing through your simple satirical mirror. Bullets clearly swilling clearest to clearest. Still can't cleanse your blemish surface in the end. Your worthless place to work hands. To make vanity, Alaska license plate your license pay with my license spray disinfection. Sickliness to sickling mess and mess from mass consumption. Lumped in vast assumption your cast is crumbling. When I cast my stumbling blocks, you sinners flock to my skin as my skull skin ox quest for cheese. But once you hit the switch, I switch from currency to currencies. And 9,000 volts in my seats currently there's 9,000 volts. Poised to attack with tactical tack. In fact, the tacky and whack. I'm trapped, there's no escape and narrate your lap with thoughts like his parts like circle your wagons. And I'll still work your lagging, barnacle encrusted, busted idol worship. I've had enough of idol worship, that's warp shit. Only you great credibility. I run the gamut on incredible ability. Your decrepit facility reflects sterility through exercises and futility. I skillfully gather virility at Indian Point nuclear power generators. You copies whose quality with every generation. Degradation to inaudible audio, less than original visual. Holding candlelight visions to the death of individualism in this land of no vision. I'm fed up in retrograde rejects and weak text. You made your bed so line it. Your security blanket like lioness. I draw the line of this. Dare you to knock this battery off my shoulder. That awful odors, your decomposing compositions. Constant wishing it was written by Alaska. Ask for actors, asthma's a factor because you lack the breath control from asbestos inhalation. Your best flow's an imitation of my masterpieces. Master seems to block out your sun. Forced to live in my shadows like bucks of tiny film. So much beyond your skills is disgusting. Distinguished professors discussing what this language treasure is busting. Alaska, master of brainiac, superfly.
I'm the substance that'll make your third eye cry. Too high in intelligence, cool shit. Whack MCs must die.
Alaska, master of brainiac, superfly. Alaska, master of brainiac, superfly. Alaska, master of brainiac, superfly. Alaska, master of brainiac, superfly.
Windnbreeze, the god of bliss. Nothing really happens when you hold on to the wind. Standing by the clock, grooming time, picking ticks. My phenotype is no longer bioluminous, and I must buy luminous objective to soak myself in objects in the fluids. If nothing really happens, it was something I was trapped in. Nothing really happens when you hold on to the wind. Standing by the clock, grooming time, picking ticks. My phenotype is no longer bioluminous, and I must buy luminous objective to soak myself in objects in the fluids. If nothing really happened, it was something I was trapped in. Eyebrows that palms before palms cover eyebrows, and get in tune with the echo like high sounds created by my forearms. Yo, I've got forearms and a bow attaches to stomach, and I plummet into tumultuous dizziness, soon to be dysrhythmia. Falling into a quick nostalgia with ballads from a shallow murmur, wind up figurine, big shoulders, and Victorian attics. I never settle for sleep, I just vindicate kettles for tea. Some of them like cardamom and cinnamon, but I like sipping the sediments and residue after taking apart synonyms. In the dark is where you're living, and it starts with a listen to the messages that the larks be delivering on the whim. Eyes fixed, I watched you hollow and following them in and out of circles through atmospheric friction, trembling. You're obligated to take this oblique twist to test if you're smart enough for oblivion. Considering lost you are wandering, like a sedentary nomad fondling a heliotrope in hand, trying to escape the shadows of a really dark and placid labyrinth. You're saying silly, sarcastic banterlinks. It's a mystery to eat, sorta like the way the Pink Panther thinks. In an open shut episode with an extra glow, glare gaze blanched to wink. And even the involuntary twitch was laborious, where your brain isn't robust. It's more gracile, like a grasshopper hopping over blades of grass, while I cut blades of grass with 2 cut blades of grass attached to the end to make a blade of grass scissor. Yo, did you hear anything about a grade, mister? Did you want me to kick your ass and dilute your linear mass until you turn into a blister? I'll give you a B- or a B+, any other insect in the kingdom of insectivores. When I reflect on claws, disinfectivores, do a diagnostic test on spores and a visual check on boards. Yo, for checkmates anticipate and tissues for tears, absorbed by glorious claws composed of distorted morbid wings of morphs for an inventory's unmentionable amount of years. And even my peers find it nonsensical, I tantalize with tentacles and send 10 million sickle cell anemia amoebas to fight lymphatic systems. Understood anguish under the woods in the forest. I'm not a fan and you're not famous. The nymph marriage dissed them, thus we cantaloupe. And if we cantaloupe, we eat cantaloupe, running with antelope like ants in a moat, chanting with ghosts with a fanciest close to crimson. Hey, and if I'm panting the most, at least I can flow through spiritual dimensions without confusion, cause I'm here for maintenance. I'm intense, fixed by my primate who walks bipedal like a primate. We walk bipedals is what we say after we leave the gardens with flowers of bloom, pollinating recessive mutations of plants on planets in the ethereal. Do you drink serums for delirium? Diluted dialect for truth, thus disillusional. You're lacking innocence, unlike the little prince you'll ask what's ephemeral. Like the presence of gorgons on purchase next to Mormon churches, and Mormon lurk if the greeting from the gargoyle takes precedence over the precipice with a precise recipe that is saliva from the snarl boils into a cup of pus. Sipping slow I do with my body wrapped around the quintessence of dust. Like Hamlet, I can't handle it. My phenotype is and be no longer bioluminous. My pores lack candlewick. I need a brand new opposed to amputated Vulcan grip to grasp my many perplexed pulses of focus, foretold to the equivalent factor of broken bliss. But don't be mistaken, Windnbreeze is still a god of it. Nothing really happens when you hold on to the wind. Standing Standing by the clock, grooming time, picking ticks. My phenotype is no longer bioluminous. At a must-buy luminous objective to soak myself in objects and new fluids. If nothing really happens, it was something I was trapped in. Nothing really happens when you hold on to the wind. Standing by the clock, grooming time, picking ticks. My phenotype is no longer bioluminous. At a must-buy luminous objective to soak myself in objects and new fluids. If nothing really happens, it was something I was trapped in.
Yo, Alaska, what I'm doing? Rubbing your titties. Sexual harassment, not for the kiddies. Seemingly stripped of purity, these self-abhorrent whores will be hoarding these unwarranted advances when their bands hit the ankles. A thankless task in a mass smile style prostitution, odd prosecution like Danfield in an unyielding militia, the twisted necks of misogynistic misfits, sickening sex sickness of ambidrous whips and dickless 2-second cats. I'll wax in 2 seconds flat, then disgrace your crystal fakes and crystal lake with Opley Jason to end the titillation of leather and lace, and better yet, leather face with a chainsaw to drain doors and paint your prom night to fright. And when some creep shows up with a bloody Valentine, you laid the waste and scream as you fall from grace. You know the rules, only vocal virgins survive. The summarize your verbal rape and lies, having dignity deprived. Art form sitting balled up in the corner of a shower, and practical tears with vaginal tears from a wanted enemy. Entry of endlessly empty promises, prominent promiscuous, mismusing musical movement, a bullshit enema fetish, and FedEx pornographic whack shit. When matched with our immaculate conception in the land of contraception, constant infection of averagely ineffective dialogue syndrome, and then invest the syndrome with a superior technical delivery. You suffer technical difficulties with your Playboy cyberspace, erotic erogenous operator, phone sex, 1-900 no text. Rap City subsidiary for an industry plan hood, whose career I'll cut short like the industry's manhood. 3 strikes with 1 too many, learn from examples. Cause let me add them, sample lineage, tar and feather, sick fetish, pleasure seeker, tweak the nipple, perverted sequence on bending knee, repentance, love deluxe, clamp by cuspid thrust, hip hop, suspended animation, death sentence.
Women as lovers are basically the same, we just have to be there.
Be there.
Making a male climax isn't at all challenging. Insert somewhere close, preferably moist. Thrust, repeat.
Flattering.
Now, making a woman come, therein lies a challenge.
Oh, you think so?
A woman makes a guy come, it's standard. A guy makes a woman come, it's talent.
Tactics that die inside like cyanide silence. I'd rather hear. I hold this rather dare and leave you trapped like deer in the headlights of your all-consuming stereotypes. My stereotypes letters of resignation upon recognition of your tape playing on decks within its system. As it enters self-destruction, plus discussion on these simple matters. Since the average senseless chatter sends us status centuries backwards, and perhaps I blame this on the blankness stated in your blanket statements with basic statements blanket slate. If the opportunity arises to stop your lunacy cries with loosely knit sides of sadness at last, if fast it was stagnant, hit your fall on after wishful core conclusions occluded, delusion antidotes featuring handmade quotes. Can't get past my man-made motor, circular rhymes. In the circus you'll climb as a mental freak, not meant to seep into the fabrics of my soul. Fragments of control hinder your abilities while splintering facilities, cause a mental revolution. Your mental sense pollutants in the environment. In a vile sense with the same sense done this job more difficult. Yet your distant emotions can't float on my evaporated seas. Perhaps we'll wait and see how this destructive conflict ends. But bust how if you win, I'll become a brown cloak on the ground. Your soul, how more powerful than you can fathom. When I fear some spirited lyrics in your direction, your reflection led to self-doubt that swarms like locusts. While I remain the chosen focus of your internal dialogue. You're inoperable like a sundial fog. Obsolete when I lob the Felix fist from reptile. J.U. for your textiles, can't get paid in complex styles. Needed for crossbreeding, countercultures, cross bearing from clowns and vultures. Those with jokes and pontiff concepts and concepts. Join us for choices and northern tips. More than strip the bright eye bushy tail. The lights I should prevail, so your lights out to no avail. You should have learned your lesson, simply lied and simplified your messages. Lessened you're more or less dead in my eyes. Alaska, master of brainiac, superfly.
Who am I? I'm the substance that'll make your third eye cry. Too low, too high in intelligence, bullshit. Like a ceaseless lie.
I'm simply tearing through your simple satirical mirror. Bullets clearly swilling clearest, but clearest. So can't clench your blended surface in the engine. Worthless place to work hands. To make vanity, Alaska likes it. Plate your lights, so pay with my lights. So spray disinfection, sickliness to sickening mess. A mess for mass consumption. Love the vast assumption. Your cast is crumbling when I cast my stumbling blocks. It's in a slack to my skin as my skull skin ox quest for cheese. But once you hit the switch, I switch from currency to currencies. And 9,000 volts in my seats currently. There's 9,000 boats poised to attack with tactical tack. In fact, the tacky and whack. A trap, there's no escape at that range. Your lap with thoughts like it's sponsored. Circle your wagons. And off the work you're lagging. Barnacle encrusted, rusted idol worship. I've had enough of idol worship. That's warp shit. Only you grant credibility. I run the gamut on incredible ability. Your decrepit facility reflects sterility through exercises and futility. I skillfully gather virility at Indian Point. Nuclear power generated. You copies whose quality with every generation. Degradation to an audible audio. Less than original visual. Holding candlelight visuals to the death of individualism in this land of no vision. I'm fed up in retrograde rejects and weak text. You made your bed, so line it. Just security blanket like lioness. I draw the line at this. Dare you to knock this battery off my shoulder. That awful odors and decomposing compositions. Constant wishing it was written by Alaska. Ask for actors, asthma's a factor because you lack the breath control from asbestos inhalation. Your best flow's an imitation of my masterpieces. Master seems to block out your sun. Forced to live in my shadows like bumps of tiny film. So much beyond your skills, it's disgusting. Distinguished professors discussing what this language treasure is busted. Alaska, master of a brainiac, superfly.
Who am I? I'm the substance that'll make your third eye cry. Too low, too high in intelligence, bullshit. Like a ceaseless lie.
Windnbreeze, the god of bliss. Nothing really happens when you hold on to the wind. Standing by the clock, grooming time, picking ticks. My phenotype is no longer bioluminous. Had a must-buy-luminous objective to soak myself in objects in the fluids. If nothing really happens, it was something I was trapped in. Nothing really happens when you hold on to the wind. Standing by the clock, grooming time, picking ticks. My phenotype is no longer bioluminous. Had a must-buy-luminous objective to soak myself in objects in the fluids. If nothing really happened, it was something I was trapped in. Eyebrows that palms before palms cover eyebrows and get in tune with the echo like high sounds created by my forearms. Yo, I've got forearms and a boy attaches to stomach, and I plummet into tumultuous dizziness, soon to be dysrhythmia. Rolling into a quick nostalgia with ballads from a shallow murmur, bow wind up figurine big shoulders and Victorian attics. I never settle for sleep, I just vindicate kettles for tea. Some of them like cardamom cinnamon, but I like sipping the sediments and residue after taking apart synonyms. In the dark is where you're limited, and it starts with a listen to the messages that the larks be delivered on the wind. Eyes fixed, I watched you hollow and following the minute out of circles through atmospheric friction, trembling. You're obligated to take this oblique twist to test if you're smart enough for oblivion. Considering lost, you are wandering like a sedentary nomad, fondling a heliotrope in hand, trying to escape the shadows of a really dark and placid labyrinth. You're saying silly, sarcastic banterlinks. It's a mystery to eat, sorta like the way the Queen Panther thinks in an open shut episode with an extra glow, glare gaze, glance to wink. And even the involuntary twitch was laborious, where your brain isn't robust. It's more gracile, like a grasshopper hopping over blades of grass, while I cut blades of grass with 2 cut blades of grass attached to the end to make a blade of grass scissor. Yo, did you hear anything about a great mister? Did you want me to kick your ass and dilute your linear mass until you turn into a blister? I'll give you a B- or a B+, any other insect in the kingdom of insectivores. When I reflect on claws, disinfectagores, do a diagnostic test on spores and a visual check on boards. Yo, for checkmates anticipated and tissues for tears, absorbed by glorious claws composed of distorted morbid rings of morphs, one inventorious unmentionable amount of years. And even my peers find it nonsensical. I tantalize with tentacles and send 10 million sickle cell anemia amoebas to fight lymphatic systems. Understood anguish under the woods in the forest. I'm not a fan and you're not famous. Then if marriage distant, thus we cantaloupe. And if we cantaloupe, we eat cantaloupe, running with antelope like ants to the moat, chanting with ghosts who wear the fanciest cloaks of crimson. And if I'm panting the most, at least I can't flow through spiritual dimensions without confusion, cause I'm here for maintenance. I'm made incense, pitched by my primate who walks bipedal like a primate. We walk bipedals is what we say after we leave the gardens where flowers are bloom, pollinating recessive mutations of plants on planets in the ethereal. Do you drink serums for delirium? Diluted dialect, fearing truth, thus disillusional. You're lacking innocence, unlike the little prince you'll ask what's ephemeral. Like the presence of gorgons on purchase next to Mormon churches, and Mormon lurking for the breeding from the gargoyle takes precedence over the precipice with a precise recipe that is saliva from the snarl boils into a cup of pus. Sipping slow I do with my body wrapped around the quintessence of dust. Like Hamlet, I can't handle it. My phenotype is and be no longer bioluminous. My pores lack candle wick. I need a brand new approach to amputated vocal grip to grasp my many perplexed pulses of focus, foretold to the equivalent factor of broken bliss. But don't be mistaken, Windnbreeze is still a god of it. Nothing really happens when you hold on to the wind. Standing by the clock, grooming time, picking ticks. My phenotype is no longer bioluminous. Had a must bioluminous objective to soak myself in objects and new fluids. If nothing really happens, it was something I was trapped in. Nothing really happens when you hold on to the wind. Standing by the clock, grooming time, picking ticks. My phenotype is no longer bioluminous. Had a must bioluminous objective to soak myself in objects and new fluids. If nothing really happens, it was something I was trapped in.
You know, sometimes we're not prepared for adversity. When it happens, sometimes we're caught short. We don't know exactly how to handle it when it comes up. Sometimes we don't know just what to do when adversity takes over. And I have advice for all of us.
I'm from the Adams family, and it's the small things that count.
The atom is a small thing with a large destruction amount.
I wanna live a long life. I don't wanna disappear with the sun rays when they fall over the mountain. So until then, life maintains. Callus is the adamantium nutshell frame. This shit ain't cotton candy, ponies, the alarm sounds. I wake up in an ebony mahogany, poverty stricken by the lightning rods that came from gray clouds with silver linings. Falsely painted, outlined even, but purposely tainted. So I can misread the guidelines of the sky's limit on the sidelines. Small print written in bluish tint. I think hard, like Christopher Wallace with a cheeseburger on his mind in his last minutes. Damn, you gotta excuse my French. Sometimes I speak in kissing swords, but I don't know how to fence. But these words will make your head bop, but you lost hope like the 39 souls that were told to hold on to the tail end of the hail bob. Divine parasite, put a muzzle on it, reality bites. Yo kid, I'm Christ-like, like how? Rhymes are flows and I walk among them like a traitor within a crew of 13 with a cellular fingertip as ET to make contact with the unseen. You telling lies wearing gasoline Levi's, cause man was made to crawl to walk but never to fly. It's in our genes, I'm trying to close the gap that bleeds, while you continuously bite the hand that feeds. My life has become an odd number while you slept in. Wander the rings that I conquered through, pondering through sentences I run after I meet the track and cross the finish line in 4 minutes flat. I'm a peaceful cat, but I respect beef like a Hindu. And cross that fine line and Adams will feast on Indian barbecue. And I'm from the Adams fam, and it's the small things that count. The atom is a small thing with a large destruction amount.
1 + 1, get it together. 1 + 1, get it together.
Get your rhymes together.
1 + 1, get it together. Story for no one and look for what it takes. 1 + 1, get it together. 1 + 1, get it together.
Cats
1 + 1, get it together.
Swinging at my man, but got trapped in a vast nucleus. In order to keep face, I make up for the blemished surface. You know, commercial hip hop is like dermatology. They only study the surface of the common shell. You know, must one fail for another to pass? Said by a wise man watching a fool pull a mule's ass. You know us black kids, we all look alike. So I'm born without a face, cause I don't wanna be like Mike. Unless he comes from starving, happy Harlem, where that name is a pun. Cause when you hungry, it ain't fun, man. These crooks are us, toy guns, play with guns in the back of alleys. Just fallen leaves from dysfunctional family trees, daughters and when I drop lines there, sometimes deeper than a penny that dwells in the bottom of a thirsty, wishing well in hell. So appreciate these outspoken tokens from a member of the Starship Enterprise who built with the last Vulcan. And I'm from the Adams fam, and it's the small things that count, and the atom is a small thing with a large destruction amount. Yeah, it's like that. Shout out to Mike Murphy, Chicago. What's up with my man, Maharaja, DC? Word up, my man, Authenticator and Duchess, Poughkeepsie, Power Kingdom, like what? Starving, Happy, Harlem Chronicle. What? Swing my cylindrical on track. What? Man. This goes out to my beloved family of Adams. This goes out to the indelible MCs. You know they stay unmovable. This goes out to Bay of Pigs, Kale Rock, Power Kingdom. Last but not least, the Golden Monkey Clan. Bananas and gold, baby. You know T1, aka Shell Shock. Come on. And I'm Vast Aire. Enough said. Now let's build upon this issue. If the highway to heaven is narrow, then sinners access fatty tissue. And as one can see, I have no space, but I remain on the positive scale weight of the galaxy. What you wanna fix fallacy? You could run around the world twice chasing chastity. What in the hell possessed you? Don't you know I'm cannibal? That means when rhyming I get down to the bone gristle. I start licking my fingertips in the cipher. See, naturally, I'm higher than, that's right, above any homegrown THC herbalized provider. But that's besides the point. Tell me who's gonna hold the weight. I can't wait any longer. I'm ready to hold plates with Jehovah, using Neptune's fork, telling Zeus to move over. I'm here before dinner, clearing the periodic table of elements off. Then I'm supplying it with a tablecloth. Yo, you can catch me analog, mic hall. I can't feel rhythms without cholesterol. After all, you must learn to examine the appetite within the nuclei, within the presence of the omnivore's eye. And when sunlight shines on my throat, we call it the solar flex, larynx, lorax, smoke for the trees. This is real life, and I'm Vast Aire. I usually speak for Cali, skinny MCs trying to start something, bulimic MCs trying to throw something up. I can fondle around the outskirts of diet, so doing it at midnight ain't nothing. I'm a glutton. Now let's build upon this issue. If the highway to heaven is narrow, then sinners access fatty tissue. And as one can see, I have no space, but I remain on the positive scale weight of the galaxy. What? You wanna fix fallacy? You could run around the world twice chasing chastity and all that. Shit, you know what I'm saying? It's T1, Vast Aire. Baseline is like biscuits and gravy, you know what I mean? I'm Vast Aire. I'm not a hard MC. I'm not a hard MC. I'm Vast Aire. I'm not a hard MC. I'm difficult. I'll stand up brewing hot pots of piety, hip hop. The gluttony inside of me won't stop. Yo, it won't stop. The gluttony. Yo, if you can't have your cake and eat it, you never had it. anyway. Plus it ain't even your birthday. Give me that. Now you cramped up. My flow has that ability. You should've waited 30 minutes to press play. Or you're a fat MC. Well, if you don't say, you grabbing the mic, all I see is a rib cage. Vast is the vitamin MC you never believed in. So I vanished you due to malnutrition. MCs are too bloated. Thought they were fat, but they only retained water. You know them, the sluggish type, they get led to the slaughter. As you fugazi Ethiopians praise me, the black god, chubby thoughts and the chubby belly. You feeling me? Yeah. You feeling me? Yeah. Do you wanna hear a little more? Hell yeah. The beautiful balance of life. You don't want me to sit on the other end of the seesaw, cause you're afraid you might see more. Yo, you might see more.
People die
Yo.
from disease, no.
You know what I mean? He up on it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, vast there. Been on it.
I'm broke.
What? Vordul, he up
There
on
any
it.
kids tonight? Girl, that would be all. Chocolate mousse, little cannoli.
Can run around the world twice, chasing chastity. Fucking losing calories. And I'll still be chubby MC. This is all I got. That's my word.
People die from that disease, Lori. Do you know what I mean? Yes, I do. I've been living with Louis. The truth is, I'm broke. Is there anything else? Girl, that would be all. Chocolate mousse, a little cannoli.